Dante Certification Level 2, 2nd Edition. Dante Presets. By now, we probably know that Dante Controller doesn't have any memory in it, right? It's a network viewer. When you launch it, it scans the network and it shows you the status of everything it found. When you take actions in Dante Controller, it sends commands to the target device. That device will probably act on it and send us a status update where we see it. Well, Dante Presets is going to give us a bit of memory. Basically, what we can do is we can take a snapshot of everything that Dante Controller sees, and we save it in a file. Somewhere down the road, we can decide to recall that preset, restoring everything back to a known configuration. In Dante Controller, if you click on the File menu, you'll see Save Preset and Load Preset. You can also use the icons in the Tool ribbon. The star saves a preset, and the folder loads one. If I ask Dante Controller to save a preset, it'll show me a list of all the devices. I can use my usual list of modification buttons, shift-click to select a range, or control-click to toggle something in and out. So if I only want to save information about some devices, I can restrict the list. If I press the Advanced button at the bottom, I can also choose to restrict the features that we will save. If the features are grayed out, that means no devices on your network support that particular feature, so don't worry about that. For example, let's suppose I just wanted to save subscriptions for the mixer, so I can change between show configurations. I could just select the mixer and my received channel subscriptions, maybe my received channel names as well. But for this example, we'll save everything. When I hit save, the system will prompt me to save a file. I'll save it to my desktop, and we'll see it come up right here. Now, beyond IT managers, anybody who has done web development, control programming, or something like that should recognize the XML format when we open this file. Now, people will ask us if Dante Controller has an offline editor mode, and unfortunately the answer is no. This is about the closest thing we have. While it's not for the faint of heart, it does have useful applications. There have been times when I go to visit a site and they started with just a few Dante devices, right? And since they knew exactly which one was which, they didn't bother naming them. But over time, they incrementally added one more and two more and another. And eventually, they have a whole list of devices either with manufacturer default names or things that don't make sense to them. But of course, you'll remember, we always say, name your devices first, then make your subscriptions. So they feel like they can't really change it now. By using the preset, I can find the name of a device we want to change, then select Search and Replace. Now I type in the name we want this to have and say Replace All. Now when I do that, not only does it update the Dante name for the device, but it also updates the name in every subscription reference through the entire preset. So at that point, I save it, I load the preset back in, all is well. So editing the file does have uses. But as I said, eventually we want to be able to recall this preset. So let's show you how to do that. I go to the File menu and say Load Preset. Or remember, I can click on the folder icon in the Tool ribbon. And of course, I locate my file in the prompt. When I open it, the system will show me 4 columns. The first column lists all the features that are saved in the preset. I can choose to recall all the features, or I can strip it back and only recall a subset. As such, it's not uncommon for people to use Dante Presets as a restore point. Certainly, it's very practical to save a preset when you finish commissioning a system. I'd say it's pretty wise to take a snapshot before you do any system maintenance. This way, if a firmware update initializes your memory, you can just go back to your preset and put the device right back on the network where it was. And of course, I know other people take a snapshot once a month, and they just name the preset with a date, put it in an archive folder, and it'll just give them a paper trail of changes to their system. Okay, so as we said, the first column shows me the parameters that I've saved in this preset. The second column shows me the name of every device in the preset. Now this is used in conjunction with the third column. The third column shows me all the devices on the network. The lighter gray tells me the name of the device from my preset that will be applied to each device on my network. Now in this case, the device names in my preset match the device names on my network. So that's very simple. But let's suppose I had a device going out for maintenance. The replacement I have coming in probably either has the manufacturer default name, or maybe it even has a name from the previous network it came from. In any case, it's not going to match this preset, and it's not going to match what I want it to be called. To assign the properties of a device from the preset to a different device on my network, I could drag the device right out of the preset onto the device in my network. Now, when I do that, the fourth column will alert me if there's any problems with this assignment. In this case, I've dragged a totally different model across, so it's telling me that some of the parameters can't be applied. Now, Dante Controller will let you proceed with this preset. It's just telling you there's certain parameters it's going to have to ignore. And this could be practical. Perhaps the DSP that you took out was 64 channels, but the program only used 32. So when you got a replacement, you got a 32 channel DSP in its place. So the preset would be just fine, and we would be able to carry on. But in this case, since these devices are actually running my classroom here, I'll just reassign this so it goes to a device that matches. When I'm happy with the assignments, I click OK, and the data from the preset will be applied to the device on the network. Depending on how much data you're recalling, this might take anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. I'll fast forward through this process a bit, and when it's done, Dante Controller will tell us preset is complete. Click OK to close. So, Dante presets are pretty straightforward. They are a way to take a snapshot of your network so you can document settings or possibly use them as a restore point. If you'd like to edit the preset, it is just a text file, so you can do that, but we don't want to pretend this is an offline editor. Finally, it can be a good practice to make presets after commissioning a system, before any major changes, or even just on a periodic basis so you can use them as a restore point.